Prior to looking at the individual modules in turn to illustrate what they are capable of and how you can use them to enhance your existing mixes, I want to go through the Ozone 6 audio mastering workflow that initially involves creating an Ozone project. Of course, Ozone 6 can work on one audio file in isolation, but it will benefit you to organize and save it as an Ozone project. I'll bring in audio first of all by clicking on this plus button and navigating to the files folder location. I'll select these two as an example and hit open. We now see two tabs up top here for these two distinct audio files. Simply select which one you wish to work on, and that is an important point. Whatever processing you impose on a file will only apply to that file. It won't affect any others that you have open in an Ozone 6 project session. Remember also, we see the individual waveforms just below here too. So, with our first file, I can add in some audio enhancement by choosing a module or modules from our Modules tab. Maybe I want to use the Equalizer module on the first track, but then, with the second track, I can use any of these modules. Or, if I prefer to remove some, I'd click on the X to close them. And now I just have the Equalizer, Exciter, and Imager modules for file number 2. Moving back to file number 1 shows us that we still just have the one module in place, the Equalizer module. So now I've started to set up what could eventually turn into a complex project, maybe if I added further processing and further audio files. It's as well to save this as a new Ozone 6 project. At present, the project is untitled, as can be seen up top, so I'll choose File and then Create New Project. As a result, this dialog asks me if I want to save changes to the untitled project. In actual fact, in this example I don't. I'm going to create a brand new project, and so I'll click on Don't Save. Now, with this dialog, I'm offered the opportunity to give the new project a name, so I will. Below I set the project path for where I'll save the project file and its associated assets. These associated assets, by the way, will be the original audio worked on and a processed version of it. So, with me having navigated to the folder that I want to use on my hard drive, I can set the sample rate. I'm going to leave it at CD standard of 44.1, but you can see the sample rate choices range between 11250, 22050, CD standard 44.1, 48,000, etc., running up to 192K. Okay then, we now have a new project. I'll bring in audio files again for this project. I'll choose these 5 songs for a mini album, and like we saw a moment ago, we get 5 distinct tabs now, with each song named with their related waveform display underneath. Also, each file name tab takes on its own processing with modules we decide to use, add to, or delete. So, going through each track means that I can adapt the processing modules I want to use in a chain for that track only. We're not restricted to the Ozone modules, of course. If we want to add in a third-party plugin, flick over to your Plugins tab and choose which you'd like to use, either on its own with other plugins or combined with Ozone's available modules. And then once you are satisfied with your processing chains for each track, save the project by coming up to File and hitting Save Project. Before I do though, if you want to process a file, choose the Export Audio option from here. Consequently, this Export Audio dialog opens, and here I will set the path to the folder where I want to save the processed version of our file. Once more here, I'll choose the sample rate and the bit depth, and then finally, if you want to add dither to the processed track, select here, and then hit the green tick to process it. And the file gets processed, running through Ozone's modules and any effects that you've got applied. Okay, now I'll go up to File, and this time Save Project, and then, once more, File and close the project. This means, because it's saved, I can recall it up at any time to continue working on it. If I hit File and Open Project, once navigated, we see these 2 folders, Exported Audio Files, and within here, you'll find all the processed versions of your files, those that you run through any of Ozone's modules or third-party effects. You'll also see this folder, Imported Audio Files, and this contains the original files. And that's how this Ozone 6 session or project works. You can always go back to the original audio. We don't overwrite it. We save the original and we offer you a new processed version. And you'll notice the name of our project for the Ozone session file has this suffix, .ozn. You can select this and then hit open. I'm going to dismiss the opportunity to save the blank empty project, and then now consequently, our project opens. Now if I fade over to my PC's files, I see inside the project folder these two folders mentioned a moment ago and the .ozn session file. Inside our imported audio, you'll see all our source songs, or the untouched source songs, whereas in the exported audio folder, here you will find the processed files. Right, I'll leave it here now then, now that we've seen how easy it is to set up a project here within Ozone 6.